Hey guys, it's Maddie and Deandra, and you're listening to Athletes Unfiltered. Welcome back for episode 9. Today we're joined by Gabbi Essix, an elite middle blocker who began her college career with the University of Florida, where she earned a national recognition and represented Team USA with a gold medal. She recently has transferred to Baylor to complete her eligibility. She's known for her presence at the net and her leadership off the court, and Gabby is also a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Woo! We'll talk about how she got into volleyball, her standout years at Florida, the challenges overcoming her injury, her journey into Greek life, and how she's balancing life as both a high-level athlete and being a member of the AKA. Please welcome Gabby!
Okay, guys, welcome back to episode 9. We have Gabbi Essix with us, former player from Florida, and now she's a current player at Baylor. Thanks for joining us today. We're so happy to have you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm super excited to be here.
Of course. Okay, so we're just going to jump right into it and just kind of start talking about your before you got to college volleyball journey, how you got started playing volleyball in the first place, and then kind of your recruitment process, and then how you ended up at Florida.
Yeah. So I started playing volleyball when I was 8, 9, probably 9. They brought a flyer to my school and I was like, oh my gosh, mommy, I really want to do this. So I got put in classes. Immediately was my second time I did class with them at Alabama Juniors. I was my middle school coach. So, and she did privates with me. So I was super excited and really encouraged from the get. I didn't play organized volleyball until 6th grade, and even then we won one match and lost everything else. So I was like, oof, is this fun? Is this good? And then we got 7th grade and that team was just absolutely amazing, and we went undefeated in regular season, ended up getting 3rd in our little metro tournament.
Oh, period.
Yeah. And then the flip season, it was the exact opposite. Our 8th grade season, we won Metro, and then we went 10-1 during the season. So we were really good. Recruitment started about the back half of my 8th grade year. Once I started playing club, I played club after 7th grade and did 12s at Alabama Juniors where I started. Then I moved over to Southern Performance, which is currently Alabama Performance. And that's when I met all of the people that I'm really close with today. That's when I started playing with Merritt Beeson. And so that's we've been playing together. We played together from 13 to 19. So Florida started coming to our court at 13. And so I got very overwhelmed because I was okay, I have to have this certain look, this certain image. I can't do anything wrong, all of these types of things. And it's a lot for a 13, 14, 15-year-old to be deciding where they're going to go to college and be on these phone calls, 25/9, really. I was really stressed out, but honestly, it was my identity was rooted in volleyball, and something that I'm very passionate about is my love for the Lord. And so I think God was doing what he needed to do to protect me and keep me at the time. But it was definitely very difficult growing up, just because I was always if a coach wasn't there, I was okay, I must not be good at volleyball. And so my identity was really rooted in it. But I started going to Florida was my first letter. And so I kind of knew I always wanted to go there. My mom told me about Ramat Al-Hassan back when I was 14. And I was oh my goodness, it's a middle-driven team, middle-driven program. I was okay, shoot, I like Florida. Went down for my first visit in 2017, and I saw them in Alabama in October. November went on my first unofficial there, and then that December they were in the national championship, and I was like, oh my goodness, I know these girls. And so I was like, I love Florida. And then I proceeded to not commit to them for 2 years and marry. And I always joke about that because she's like, yeah, you took the longest, even though you already knew you were coming here.
You just had to weigh out your options, you know?
Yeah.
Because I started getting recruited at 13. My mom was like, you are too young to make this decision. And she was like, she wanted me to like see all the options and just make sure that I was completely content in everything with my choice with Florida before I committed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to camp in 2018 and I like felt like I really loved the volleyball side. So when 2019 came around, my sophomore year of high school, I went down during spring break and I like took a tour, walked around the campus for 3.5 hours. Loved every aspect of it. Found my favorite bridge that like is like a secret hideaway. I was like, I love it here, academic and athletically. I was like, I want to commit here. And my mom was like, okay, shoot, perfect. We went. I literally took my commitment photos when I went down there. And then, so when I committed like 2 weeks later, my coach was like, hey, do you like have a shirt, cap, all that stuff? I was like, actually, I already have my commitment photos ready to upload. So I committed and I was super excited. Merb actually committed like 2 months before me. So it was kind of like exciting because it was like, oh, 2 girls from Alabama, and like Alabama volleyball wasn't really the highest level. So it was like really big for 2 of us to come out and like be going to a Division I Power 4 school. So yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. I understand that 13's like whenever you're talking about your identity and like everything we have to go through with that young, it was actually crazy. And I'm so happy they changed the rules now because why was like volleyball like my main priority, like over everything? Like I was worried about like who's coming to my court, who's looking at me. If I perform bad, I'm like, oh, they're not, Texas doesn't want me or Baylor or whatever doesn't want me anymore. And it's hard that we kind of went through that so early. And I'm so happy they changed those rules. And how did you like deal like as you got older, did your like personality, like identity with volleyball get better or is it still like kind of the same?
Yeah, I definitely it took until probably like my junior year when everything kind of like I always say like the pruning and equipping process, like God like stripped everything away from me. Like volleyball was bad, like literally everything around me was just like dumpster fire. And that's when I realized like you literally cannot have your identity in anything but God because God is like the only thing that matters. Like at the end of the day, like our old lives will pass away and we're just going to be going up to heaven and the only thing that's going to matter is what we did for him here on earth. So I'm like, yeah.
Oh girl, you're like preaching. I'm loving it. Like, no, that's so true though. Because I feel like we all kind of in volleyball, everyone kind of reaches that rock bottom point where it's like everything's taken away from you. And like I agree, I literally had the same exact thing. I'm sure she had the same exact problem too. And it just makes your relationship with God like it made it so much stronger. And I realized it made me like grow outside of volleyball. Like it got to the point where I just really didn't care about it. I loved playing it, but it just wasn't my identity anymore. So I'm happy that you kind of got over that and got closer with God and everything. But you said you came into Florida. And can you just tell us about your experience at Florida? Just the highs, the lows, just tell us all about it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. I literally was like, I came in a 17-year-old child and I left a 21-year-old adult. So I went through so much at Florida, like so much good, so much bad, but also like I wouldn't change any of it because it's brought me to the person that I am today. Like I would say my freshman year was really, really hard because I came off like my senior year, went straight into a USA team. So I was gone like we got to campus, nobody was there. The day that everybody got there, I flew out to Las Vegas and then I was gone to the Netherlands for like 3 weeks after that. So I didn't get back until like the end of July. So I only had like a couple weeks to bond with the team, but I like had a few things that kind of happened. I was not the best person going into my freshman year and like honestly like until 2023 honestly. And so it was a hurt people situation, but I said something really bad about my teammate and I like feel terrible about it, but it genuinely like she was the definition of like God's grace and love. And so everybody was kind of like we don't like her. And like why would you, like you hadn't met me and that's the only thing you heard about me. So I was like, yeah, I totally get it. So my season was like really, really hard, but I had gone through my mom and I like lost everything my senior year of high school. And so I was homeless and I was like sleeping in my car. And so like we kind of like talked about it in our preseason chat. And so it kind of like brought a few people over and being like, oh, like a little bit more like sympathy and empathy for me. So like that was definitely helpful. I had a teammate, Tiara Caesar, who like I was really close to, got close to her on my visit and then throughout the season. And then so she ended up not finishing the season with us. And that's when I feel like I faced like my most like hard moments, but I was like really down and out by the time I got home postseason. So I was like, okay, like I don't really know like what purpose I have or like what I'm supposed to be doing out here. And so I was like, God, like I grew up in a Christian home, but I never like knew God truly like personally.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like really, really nervous to go back. And so I like was sitting in a library in Alabama, and then this TikTok came up on my page, and I literally like 2 seconds before I was like, I literally have no purpose in this world. And so it was like The Perfect Patience of God by Priscilla Shire, and it was talking about how you're supposed to be born at this moment in this generation with this skin texture, with this hair color. All of these things were not by mistake, but for the divine purposes of the kingdom. And I was like, wow, like Jesus cares about me. He knows me. He loves me. He created me so specifically for all the things that I'm doing today. And so that was like my come to Jesus moment. And so after that, I like got back to campus and I was like so motivated, so encouraged. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. But I also didn't have any guidance. I like wasn't in community or in the church. So like I really struggled kind of like having that like going back to what I knew and like the college experience, and then like also being like a faithful woman of God. So, but top priority at that time was just being a starter. And so I worked relentlessly hard during my whole time that year just to be a starter. Ended up like getting to start. We won SECs that year. I had so much fun. Like that was generally my favorite year. Like Ellie and I got to go out to California and do a college national team, got to meet like the whole volleyball world because they invited like 60 of us that year, which I really liked because it was like more train series, less of a like train, compete, train, like make the team and then go compete. So it was kind of nice just to have a training series and like focus on like getting better and not really being like super stressed out at that time. But yeah, after that season, we did have a few people transfer out, and those were the people that I was closest to. So I really struggled when I got back to campus in 23. And then that's like kind of where like wanting to be an AKA came in, because I was like, okay, like I really want community. Like I really like miss everybody and all of these things. And so I was like, okay, like I'm gonna be an AKA. Came in AKA, had a whole like uproar, and I can get more into that later on. But it was just like a whole like it was a lot just going on between like myself, my coaches, my teammates, all of that. But after that, it was like 2 seconds later, boom, another national team. So it was like a lot of back and forth there. And then that season was like so super hard because we ended up having 3 season-ending injuries, and then like 4 more of us were actually like battling injuries like kind of behind the scenes that nobody could really see, even though we were playing on the court. So that became a huge thing. But by the end of that year, I was kind of like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna stay here. And then I went to the national championship that year, and I was like, God, like I really want to know like where are we going? Like what's going on? Like what's this next step? So he was like, go back to Florida. And I was like, are you sure? And I was like, okay, we're gonna go back to Florida. And then I came back. My 2024 was one of my favorite years ever because it's the year that I like got into a group at church. Like I found community. I was like in my church like daily. Like volleyball was so easy. Like everything clicked on all cylinders for me, whether it was offensively or defensively. My relationships with my teammates were so much better, especially when I came back from the ultimate training camp, UTC. So that was like super encouraging and super fun, just like being on fire for Christ. Like when they talk about like him truly changing who you are, like from a heart standpoint, and it like it's an inward change, but like people see it in an outward way. Like people begin to change like their opinion on you. Like I got to see it firsthand. And so like I became like super like close with my teammates, and I was like, wow, like I've never had this before. I've never seen this before. And it's not something that I would have like experienced before. But yeah, went through a lot of knee problems all spring, all summer, all fall. And then like it eventually it resulted in me having to get surgery. And then so I decided to enter the transfer portal after that, just because I started as a child, became an adult, was completely different by the time I left. So I was really grateful for every experience, honestly.
No, I think we can all attest to that. Like, I'm not the same person I was when I went into college.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, your journey is amazing. I'm sorry. Like that, like some of them almost brought me to tears. Like that's amazing. And you've gone through so much, and like you're in a like the main thing I have to say after all of that, it's like your relationship with God is like the strongest it's ever been. And that makes me so happy. And like I'm trying to grow my relationship even more. But that just made me feel inspired just hearing everything you went through. Like that's amazing. So kudos to you. That's that's awesome.
Yeah.
He does it all. I can't take any credit. Like he literally did everything.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
Whenever you were going through your knee injury though, kind of like how did you, I guess, deal with that like mentally and physically? And I guess like how did you overcome that obstacle?
Yeah. So, that was a long journey because in May I tore my meniscus in I think March, and then I had tears in my tendon. Like knee problems really started presenting themselves at the back half of my junior season. Like we're playing y'all on the O-Dome floor, and I literally, by the time we like got off the court, I was like, I honestly don't think I could have like jumped another practice or played another match because my body felt so bad. And I didn't really know what was coming. But after my spring season, I ended up getting PRP shots, one in my meniscus and one in my tendon. And my meniscus responded well to it. My tendon did not. I really ended up struggling with it. A lot of pain, a lot of rehab. And I kind of would just push through my spring season with it. And it was so crazy because I walked in to my final spring game last year, and I was like, my trainer and I, like, she knows I'm pretty like strong in like pain management. So for me to admit I'm even in pain is a really big deal for me. So she's like, hey, how are your knees feeling? And I was like, ooh, actually they hurt really bad. And she was like, okay, like you shouldn't play today. Like she knew like if I was saying they were bad, they were probably 10 times worse than what I was letting on. And then Ken walks in and she's so sick. And we had like 12 of us, I think.
Oh God.
We had like 4 attackers basically, or like 3 attackers. So it was like, y'all are going to have to play. And so she like turns to me and was like, hey, and I'm like, yeah, I got the memo. Like I'm gonna have to suit up today. Ended up not playing terribly. Based on how I'd been playing in the spring, it was bad, but it really wasn't bad. Instead of hitting 560, I hit like 200. Shoot me. Sue me. I'm we all have an off day.
No, yeah.
But after the match, like my coaches are like, that was like really bad. And I was like, thanks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, I get my MRI and have my end of spring meeting. And they're like, you had tears in both of your knees? They're like, how did you play so well? You must have been in a lot of pain. And I was like, yeah.
You had him in both?
Yes, I had him in both. It was a long journey, but the whole summer was like rehabbing. I was like on the court maybe like 7 total times throughout the summer because I like physically every time I would try to do something, it would backfire. My knees would like shut down on me. It didn't matter what I did mentally, like my body just couldn't go physically. And we get to the first day of preseason. I land regular. Oh no, let me backtrack. We get to the first day of preseason. We're 5 hours in, and 2, 3.
Yeah.
And so we're on the last 30 minutes of practice. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we're about to play. Yay. My whole body goes straight cold. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, no, this can't be real. My trainer comes up to me and is like, hey, like, how are you feeling? I'm like, I feel great. Warning comes before destruction. We get on the court, first 7 points, amazing. I'm having so much fun. Life is amazing. Mm-hmm. Boom. I land regularly. I feel a ripping in my leg. I'm like, I go straight tears and am hobbling off the court. I was like, I couldn't even pretend for one moment that I could even get up for another point.
Yeah.
Spent 6 weeks off the court, and those 6 weeks were the hardest 6 weeks of my life, genuinely. We went to Colorado State, which is where I went to the ultimate training camp, where I surrendered my whole life to Christ in May to start our season. And so I went through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows of spiritual warfare. And I'm sitting in my hotel room one night. It's like 2:00 in the morning. And I am just sobbing. And I'm listening to this song, and like The Great Is by Elevation Worship is playing at the time. And I am like, like he's going to turn around. I don't know when, I don't know how. But I'm like, God, I have to be honest with you. I know I shouldn't feel this way, but I feel like I need volleyball the way I need air to breathe right now. And with that honesty, he completely changed the next 2 weeks of my life. Like, I felt like more motivated. I like had a better mindset. Like, we came to Atlanta to play, y'all, and I was like, dang it, I wish I was playing. But like, obviously that wasn't in the plans. That wasn't in the cards. Yeah. But it was the first good day I'd had since getting injured during our serve and pass. So I was like really encouraged by that. 2 days later, 2 more practices go by. I'm like, okay, I think I earned my spot back, but I'm not sure. All of this stuff, a lot of spiritual warfare, emotional turmoil going on. And it was like, well, you got bench versus FSU last year. What if like you don't play? What if you like all of these like things that the devil was trying to put in my head? And I was like, no, like God is in control, like no fear, no doubt, no unbelief. So we get there, we get to FSU, have a great time. I literally I was surrounded by the Lord's presence the whole time. At the camp, they teach you how to play with, use sport and God, and like bring them together instead of them being separated. So in between like my down moments, I'm like, God is in control between each point. And I like, when we played y'all, I had so much anxiety in the 5th set, and I was like, okay, like, I don't know what to do. Same thing happened versus FSU. Anxiety's rising. I'm like, nope, God is in control. Like, what? Completely subsides. We win the match. I had a great time. And then I was out the rest of the season. So that was super fun. But being out surgery wise, all of that, I was like very encouraged because I kind of knew what God was doing the whole time. He told me when I walked across the court after our match, I was the last one out of the locker room. And I was like, I like took a deep breath on the court, and I was like, why am I taking a deep breath on the court? And like, God was like, that was your last match. And I was like, oh, don't say that. So I still tried to force it even after that, even like kind of knowing what he was telling me. And then in October, when we played Texas, I knew he was calling me to Texas. At first thought it was UT Austin. So I was like, okay. And then like, once I got in the portal, I realized it was like just the state of Texas in general. And so I was like super excited and encouraged about that. So I kind of knew what God was slowly revealing his plan to me in the midst of like the surgery and everything. And I was already in so much pain. So I was like, please operate and fix my leg. So I was feeling very like mellowed out.
Yeah. And you're all like healthy now. You're feeling good now.
Yes, yeah. I feel great. Like I was talking with Sucky because she went through leg surgery as well, and just like her repair and all of that, and like all the things that she went through. So I was kind of just like how long does it take to like feel normal again, all these things. And then so like I've been back out on the court, we've been doing open gyms, and it's been really fun just kind of getting back in the flow of being consistent, like when it comes to making block moves and all of that. But it's been super super fun just to be back out there and like kind of just like not be in pain. So
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm really happy you're all healthy and back and better now. That's really good.
Nice, girl. Because that injury stuff is hard. So I'm happy you've got that over with, and you're at the new school now. Yeah. And I'm really excited and happy for you. But you did mention earlier you becoming an AKA. Yeah. So can you just tell us about that? Like, what drew you to wanting to become an AKA? Can you tell us about the journey? I know Deandra is really excited about this, and I'm excited to hear about it because I wish I would have been an AKA. So
yeah, because literally there's like no volleyball players.
Yeah,
that there are like Greek volleyball players, especially AKA volleyball players. So this just makes me really happy because it's like I feel like we have our own little community.
Yeah. No, I love seeing the Greek volleyballers like come about, especially the AKAs. You know, we're a little biased over here, but I am a legacy through my grandmother. She passed in 1996 in Alabama. So I was like super excited because I remember just seeing like this little black porcelain doll that with like the AKA lettering over it, like was like from the time I was like 5, 6 years old. And so like I knew just like of like AKA just like very vaguely when I was leaving my freshman year. And so I went to their Founders Day presentation. I was like, oh, I love this. Like I low-key I want to do this, but I was kind of like, I don't know when I would. I was kind of just like, we'll feel it out, see what happens. Maybe my senior year, we'll see what happens. So back half of my sophomore year comes around after my sophomore season, and like I see that they're having like the informationals, and like I'm going to events, and you know, kind of just like seeing everything that's going down. And I'm like, okay. And then so I like got the flyer, applied, went through all of that process, and then like got the call, and I was like, okay, yay, I'm about to be an AKA. And so I literally got the call right before one of our practices, and I was like, ah! I was like, hi. She was like, hey. And I was like, hey. And she was like, okay. I was like, see you. And she was like, okay. I was like, I have practice, so I have to go. But she was like, okay, cool. And then so kind of just like went through my process. It was a long and hard process, obviously. But there definitely was like some emotional turmoil between myself and my teammates and my coaches. And so it was like really, really difficult, kind of just because AK is very demanding, and like you like it's like very visible like when you're in your process sometimes. And so I think the biggest thing was like when I was in the midst of it, it was like, well, we're putting in 100%. Why aren't you putting in 100%? And so it was like really hard because I was like, I want to tell y'all, but at the same time, like I just like couldn't. And I knew there wasn't going to be like this general understanding. But one of my teammates, her mom is a Delta, and now she's a Delta. She actually crushed spring 24. And so I got to go to her probate, which was great just to like see her come out and do everything. So it was really nice eventually having 2 Greek volleyballers on the team, kind of just having that connection. But yeah, she knew, and so she like was very, very respectful and just like didn't tell the team, which I really appreciated, because I was like, if it were roles reversed, like I wouldn't want anybody to like say anything about what I'm going through as well. But yeah, it definitely created a lot of animosity between myself and the team afterwards, like once we finished everything. But it was like you kind of got to see everybody's true colors kind of come out, and like myself included, because I wasn't being like the best person. Like I said, like I really genuinely wasn't a very good person up until God really like met me and started sanctifying me in 2020, in the back half of 2023. So I was like, there were no hard feelings. And I feel like once we got to my senior year, like we kind of had all of those conversations, like hashed everything out. And so I think there was like this clear understanding of what it is and what it wasn't. And I really appreciate everybody being understanding, like from the like back half standpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I would say, like, what advice would you give to like someone who did want to do Greek life and play volleyball? Because like obviously, like you said, like, and like from my experience too, like both are very demanding, especially doing them at the same time. And it is really hard because it's like, you know, like your coaches and your teammates aren't necessarily going to understand. And then also like your chapter and your like your line sisters aren't going to understand either, like the different demands that both of it take.
Yeah.
So like for me, that almost like playing volleyball was like, okay, like I can't do Greek life, like I can't become an AKA because it's like really impossible to do both. So even though it's not impossible, obviously we both are here, we're both standing, we both did it. But what advice would you give to someone who did want to do both and kind of thinks that, I mean, what inspiring advice would you give them to make it believe that it is possible and that they can do it?
I would be like, know yourself, like know what you can do. Like for me, I knew that I felt like called to do more than school and volleyball. Like I knew that I could put more on my plate and still balance it equally. And so I think if you feel that way, go ahead, go out on the limb and do it, because there's only so many chances. Like I love my line sisters, grad chapter is amazing. But I feel like nothing compares to being an undergrad and crossing with your line sisters. I love my sisters. My line sister actually just won Miss Florida, is competing in Miss America in September. So like that connection would never have happened if not for AKA. So I'm like, go out, do it, have fun. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that like also one thing that like it helped me a lot with was just like building a community outside of volleyball and like not just like being an athlete at Georgia Tech, but now I'm like connected to like the Black community of Georgia Tech too. Like, you know, it's like you get a good mix and it's like you're not just like with your teammates all the time, and then you can kind of connect with like your people more, you know what I mean?
Yes. And we always talk about like our core principles being sisterhood, scholarship, and service. And like in like the service aspect, like we went out and did so many community service projects that like I never would have even thought to do, or even just like been like, okay, I have the time for this. Like, think it made you think so much less about yourself and like actually think deeply into your community. And then I also was always like, okay, I already wanted to keep my grades up and make sure like I was like top tier, but I also was like, now I'm contributing to my organization. I'm contributing to our Florida Greek standards, all of these things. So I like kept myself at an even higher standard than I even knew possible afterwards after joining. So I was like, yeah.
No, yeah. I say, guys, if you want to do it, do it.
Yeah. If I could go back to college, I would want to do it. I actually would want to. Now that I see y'all doing it, I'm like, I would want to do it, but it was too much. They probably don't have it. I mean, they have it at NC State, but it's like, I think it's only about like 3 people, or it's not a lot going on over here. So I'm happy y'all did it and have a great community. My friend from Georgia went to TCU. She's a part of the sorority now. Jordan Williams, she's at K-State, so she's excited and they love it. So after you decided to transfer to Baylor, what, like you said, you kind of talked about what led to that decision, but can you tell us like what you're looking forward to in this new chapter? What are your goals of being at Baylor?
Yes. Okay. So many different things. I'm like definitely in a like, I want the Lord to lead everything that I do. And so really working on playing with him again and like kind of implementing that, because it's been 8 months, and kind of just like exuding all the fruits of the spirits, because I think that's what's most important. My teammates, I literally cannot express it enough. They are so amazing. I have so many like God-fearing women who are teammates, and like I'm like super close to my setters, which is like so ironic, you know. hitter setter connection, duh. And so just like the love that they just like exude every single day, and just like the way that we play and the way that we pray before matches and after matches, like it's just so encouraging. Like I love that like the Lord is literally our cornerstone. Like Jesus is our cornerstone in everything that we do and everything that we're going to do. Like we always say like God is our head recruiting coordinator, and like he is like the person that's going to drive us forward. Like whatever happens this season, like God already knows that it's going to happen. And so I honestly like want to go in with like no expectations, because I know like we're going to be really good regardless of like the training that we put in, but also because God is leading the way. Like we watched Ohio State football walk in with the Jesus One shirts. I literally said they're gonna win the Natty. I saw them shirts. I saw the shirts Natty, and when they do, they win Natty. So yeah.
Like that's the energy everyone needs.
Yes. Oh, well, that's exciting. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to watch and keep up to date with everything you have going on. And I would say, I don't know. I'm just really excited to watch you. And wait, who's all still in the Big 12 now?
Oh, oof. Okay, Arizona State, TCU, Texas Tech, BYU, Utah. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, I was say that's gonna be pretty good.
I don't think I could.
We did a little test on the
BYU. Did you already say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is it Houston too in there?
Oh yeah, Houston's in there.
Okay, that would be fun. I'm excited. I'm gonna be watching, girls, so I'm excited to see. It's gonna be fun.
It will be fun. It'll be crazy.
Do you want to go?
Okay. So kind of just like looking forward into the future. After you finish your senior season at Baylor, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you still see yourself playing volleyball, or what does that look like?
Yes. Okay. So I definitely want to play professionally. I feel like I always say that I want to play professionally. I would love to just like, honestly, any opportunities that come my way, I'm never gonna say no. I would love to play in the States just to be close to my family, be close to friends, all of that, and like play against my friends because I feel like everybody's in the league right now. So that's super fun to see on both leagues, which is crazy. Like having 2 leagues in the United States, like look at how far volleyball has come.
Yeah.
I played a little bit internationally, so would never be opposed to playing internationally ever again. Like that was so fun. It's a very unique experience. I feel like it's a very rare experience. Like not a lot of people get to experience that as well. So that'd be super cool. Outside of volleyball, still inside volleyball because I'm a sports girly through and through. I would love to go back and coach at my high school during some time. Still have that great relationship with our high school coach. I actually didn't get to play for her. We had a different coach during my days there, but she's done an amazing job just like taking over the program and kind of just propelling the girls forward. And she's just so encouraging and I just absolutely love her. So would love to work under her. And then overall, like my big career dream would to be being a sports masseuse and like for a professional team. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So
okay.
That's like 10, 5, however long God says.
Okay, so we kind of like talked about how like, or you said that like how freshman year you were like such a different person back then. So I guess like if you could go back, what advice would you give your freshman year self?
Oof. I would say don't be afraid to like be confident in your abilities because I think I was always so shocked and surprised when I did something well volleyball wise. Like it's the same. Yes, it's faster. Yes, it's like with people who are like same or better skill level than you, but it's the same sport you've been playing your whole life. Just go out and have fun and don't take everything so seriously.
Yeah. No, I feel like I feel like that's like Maddie's like main thing.
No, yeah, definitely. Because it really isn't. Like, everyone tries to make it such a huge thing, and it's like, no, it's just volleyball. Like, we're just trying to get the ball, not to get on the floor.
Yeah.
So I get that, girl. And good for you. Because I'm like, I try to tell everyone that all the time. Because, like, the freshmen need to know that it's not that deep. I think the coaches try to make it so, like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world when it really isn't. So it's
And
fine.
I think I try to tell everybody because I knew like especially like being in the program a year or two in, I like called all of our like baby recruits and I was like, you need to be coming in ready to start. Because I wish somebody had like called me and told me that. And then what happened? All 5 of them started. I was like, and they were ready. They were like, no, like you're joking. And I was like, no, I'm looking you dead in the face and telling you need to come in being ready to start. Boom, that happened. So, and then they weren't as shocked. So, yeah.
No, yeah, that's good because a lot of people come in and like they don't expect to play, which is like valid. But like I feel like also like everyone has a fair chance and a fair game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Especially injuries happen too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, injuries are the worst. I'm sorry, but you learn so much about yourself throughout the process. But it's so hard, especially in college. But we're gonna do like a fire rapid round questions.
Okay.
Questions. And so the first one I would say is, what's your favorite AKA stroll song?
Ooh, Too Easy.
Oh, okay. We don't have a shot at that one.
Yeah. Okay. I think I like the harder hitting strolls personally, but I think Nuck If You Buck is always a good one.
Yes, Nuck is one of my favorites. My favorites because it's like always so aggressive, and like in our stroll, like we have a bunch of like disses in our stroll.
Yeah,
so it's so fun. Yeah.
Yes, but we're all about Greek unity over here. Trust.
Okay, what is one thing that keeps you grounded?
The Lord, my faith. Literally, I went back to UTC this year, literally last week or 2 weeks ago ish, and got to intern and kind of see a different side. Last year I camped in Colorado. This year I interned in Minnesota, and like the whole time I was like kind of being disobedient to the Lord when he was like telling me to like apply. I was like, God, are you sure? Like as if he doesn't already know everything. And so I ended up they were like, okay, well, Colorado is like closed, so Minnesota. And I was like, no. And then less than 24 hours, God showed me like 7 reasons on why to go to Minnesota. Ended up having 5 other people from Colorado come, just like seeing the camaraderie, like with my brothers and sisters in Christ and watching people grow in their faith, getting to lead a small group, all of these things, like just being a small part of like what God is doing in like such like a bigger sense is just so amazing, and it like fills my cup in a way that it like nothing else does.
Yeah.
No, that's good. What was your most insane SEC matchup you played in? Or game? Like your favorite, your best game?
Okay, I would say hardest SEC matchup, anything versus Kentucky. Especially when Azani was there. Like I would say 2022, because we won the first in 3 and then the next we lost in 3. So it was really funny. The first day I was horrendously sick. Like I couldn't even stand on my own 2 feet. There is actually a video of me falling down after one of the plays because I was actually sick. And then the second day, I was feeling much better. And so it was like Azani and I were going head to head, like back and forth, tit for tat. So I really enjoyed that. But also enjoyed our match versus Ole Miss, because that's when we won SECs. And it was a 5-set thriller.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a quote or motto that gets you through tough days?
Ooh. Oh, this sounds so bad. Nothing matters.
I love that.
I love it.
I think when you like get too attached to something and want something and hold on to it so tightly, like God can't bless you, because like it's like the little image of like the small teddy bear, and like the girl's like, I want the small teddy bear so bad, and behind like Jesus you can see like this gigantic teddy bear, and it's like just a representation of all the blessings that he has for us as long as we're willing to surrender to his will. So I always say nothing matters. Like when I get too riled up into like volleyball or an error and I'm not doing well, and I'm like, oh, nothing matters. And that just like zeroes me and sets me right back to like being in his presence. So.
Yeah. No, I love that.
I love that for real, because it just like nothing matters, and it makes you like feel so calm. The anxiety goes away, and you're just like, it's in God's hands. So no, that's great. But Gabby, thank you so much for joining us today. And it was so nice to hear about your story. Like it was definitely like one of my favorite podcast episodes, I would have to say, because just hearing about your journey is just so amazing and so inspiring too. And I'm excited for your next step. So
thank you guys. This is so amazing.
Your relationship with God. Like I'm like, ugh, I need to step it up.
Yes, me too. I'm like, wow, I really do.
Hey, as long as we're like, God is always speaking. It's just, are we listening? And just like being intentional with the time that we have. Like we have our days where it's going to be harder, but we just have to chase the fire every day. That's something that my pastor always says. Like, are you chasing the fire each day? Like the devil is always going to, like, his job is to steal, kill, and destroy. But are we like being actively choosing to turn to God each day? Like I was watching 28:19, and I was like, there'll be times where I'm sitting there bored, and I'm like, Gabby, why are we bored? Let's listen to a sermon. Let's do this. Yeah. Like, let's fill this extra time with like something that can help me improve my depths of my relationship with God. So,
yeah.
No, great.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yes.